Well, Broad City was such an iconic show, and something that like so many people, I know for me, it was the show that I was like, yeah, I fucking want to do that shit.
Yeah.
How was it like? How does it feel now, looking back on it and being like that led you to this like amazing HBO show?
I mean, it was the first time we worked with Jen professionally, so that was something that obviously we had a lot of fun doing. But also, I don't know, it was such a baptism by fire, because it was like our first thing. It was really scrappy. It was a very low budget Comedy Central show that it felt like the adults weren't home, because
Abby and Alana were showrunning, and they were 25 and 28 or something, 27, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like very young.
Yeah, really young, without like a lot of writer's room experience. They didn't like go up a traditional
I don't know if they had seen TV. I look back, and Paul and Lucia were much more involved in every single season and episode than I was. I was doing it remotely, but you guys were very much handed the keys to the car, and like nobody, it's like, especially like you got like it was just kind of crazy. Now looking back, I'm like, they let us do that.
I know.
But in a way, like the inexperience was what kind of, I think, gave it a unique voice.
Yeah, made it so special and kind of resonant to people, and also was like such a cool thing that you guys got this opportunity that I'm sure like it influenced how you now that you're more professionally established, like being able to have the keys to the car and kind of drive around and do like weird laps, like probably really helped you hone those skills.
100%. We had to figure it out. And also we have to give credit to Kent Alterman and everyone at Comedy Central, Brooke Posh at the time, and R.I.P. and Sarah Babineau, who really supported the show and were so creative and comedy focused that they really they let us grow up there, and they let us figure it out. And I mean, without that, it would have been a very different path for us.
And we would have had so much less experience.
Yeah, I think, and it also, like you're saying, RIP, it makes us look back, and we've been talking a lot about this recently. It's like, even though it was crazy to give Abby and Alana the ability to show run, and everybody was so young and hadn't really done much TV before, it was allowed to be a little bit lower stakes, because Comedy Central shows were lower budget, and the ethos of that was like, give young up and coming comedians their first shot, give them their first show. And now, as we move into this streaming era and Comedy Central is no more when it comes to originals and stuff like that, everything feels so high stakes.
Yeah,
it
really
feels
does.
It feels like, someone, an executive did recently say to me, I was kind of like, well, what are you looking for in comedy? And they were like, well, honestly, hits. And I was
Great,
like, sure.
thank you so much.
Like
Me too.
but
Yeah,
me
we're
too.
all looking for hits, it turns out. We all like to be rich and famous.
Totally. But unfortunately, I think, it's not that executive's fault. I think there's tremendous pressure coming from upstairs, so to speak, not God, but like
God wants to laugh.
The people who own these companies, and things need to hit immediately. They need to be so big. And so there's just like less of an opportunity for younger up and coming comedians to have a show where it can be a little less like high profile, lower stakes. Like now, it just has gotten so outsized in terms of the money being spent in the who gets the opportunities, which is really a bummer.
And while our show is a comedy, and so we're talking about comedy, I do think that's true even for drama. It's sort of like, if it's not, really well-known IP, I do feel like original voices, so it's harder for people to get original ideas on the screen or get jobs in those rooms, because they just, right now, there's less and less.